There are some stories that should never be told, but those stories should be embraced. There is something dark and scary about these dark tales. Sometimes dreams and nightmares come true.
I see you.
There's nowhere to hide. Silver Swan Audio Oddities.
A couple of friends had a get-together at a cemetery. One of the friends dared two of his good friends to dance on the grave of a serial killer who was called the Saw Man. The legend goes, if you dance on the grave of the Saw Man, he will come for you. If he touches you, your body goes numb, and he will take his time using his saw on your paralyzed body. He will saw off a body part, leaving it for someone to find. The friends all laughed about the Saw Man story, and two of the boys danced on the grave. After the get-together, they all smoked some joints and chilled outside a gas station for a while. One of the guys, dressed as a Mario brother, told his friends he has work to get to, and told them he is doing a security job at a Halloween party at a club. They're all invited. The Halloween party is a blast. Music, women, friends, games, dancing, oh yeah, and candy. The drinks were rather the pull for all the young adults enjoying the night. The club is very loud and busy. If placed one hand on the wall of the building, you would feel a vibration. Conversations between friends were going. Some shouted and yelled just to get a word out over the loud music. The DJ came dressed as a clown. He spun and did the splits. He even did a few backflips to show off his moves. The security guard Gerald, dressed up as Mario, made his way through the crowded club. A few women gave him some friendly, seductive glances. He smirked and danced, slightly winking at them. His cell phone rang, and he saw it was his friend James. James texted him that it is real. Not thinking much of the text, Gerald scrunched his nose and put his phone in his pocket. Gerald needed to use the restroom. He felt he couldn't handle another drunken person with his bladder feeling to want to burst. He already threw out 5 drunks. A couple of his friends that he met at the cemetery waved at him as he was passing by. He shouted to them that he needs to get to the restroom and that he would be right back. He shoved a few people out the way. They didn't do anything back. Seeing that Gerald is 6'3", a large Puerto Rican man with short, dark, curly hair, and arms that stretch the shirt he wears, his other side job. He is a fitness trainer. He went into the restroom as 2 others finished. One of the guys said hi to Gerald. Gerald just gave him a nod, acknowledging him. Gerald was a little paranoid, so he checked the toilet cubicles to see if he was alone. He pushed open each door, then, after seeing no one there, he turned and went to the urinals. He stepped over to the farthest one next to the wall. It left 4 others to the right of him. He unzipped his fly and started to handle business. He let out a sigh of relief and began to relax. He closed his eyes and then yawned. All of a sudden he felt a presence. He turned to see a person in the next stall right beside him. The person is in all black. A big trench coat, black shoes, and a black old-fashioned styled hat. The man is taller than he is. Just as Gerald looked over, he looked up at the man who was staring right at him. In a hurry, he looked back to face the wall in front of him as fast as he could. His heart started to race in his chest. He thought to himself, "Oh no, I didn't just see that." The image stayed in his head, prickling into his thoughts. The man is facing him with tennis ball-sized eyeballs, no eyelids. The bottom part of his mouth is missing. The eyes just stared right at him. Gerald thought, why did this guy take the urinal next to me? And why is he staring at me? His face, That has to be a mask. That Halloween mask looks too realistic and gruesome. Gerald thought. Gerald was still peeing. He tried not to look over again, but from his peripheral vision, he could tell the person is still facing him. Gerald knew something was very wrong. How did he not notice him enter the restroom? He should have heard him. Why is he so close to me? Does this guy not know of personal space? 3 unused urinals and he picks the one next to me. This has to be someone I know. Someone messing with me. But who? I don't know anyone as tall as me or taller. I'll have to play it off, Gerald thought to himself. Gerald slowly turns his head to the right, then raises his eyes for a better look. The eyes are looking dead center into Gerald's eyes, super focused. Long, wild, curly blonde hair hung from his hat, touching his shoulders. The bottom of his jaw is missing, and the rotten teeth has gnats and flies on them. The pupils in the eyes widen. The sides of the mouth curve upward as though the man is trying to smile. Drool drips from the upper part of his mouth, the eyes never blinking. Just a bizarre stare. A wave of shock hit Gerald in that moment. He now knew this person isn't dressed for Halloween. This is his face, his real face. Gerald looked away, zipping up his pants, and moved around, walking as far away as he could from the stranger. Gerald moved quickly. He grabbed the door handle, and just before he headed out, he took another glance. The stranger was now facing him, holding a large wood-cutting saw. He wasn't moving. He just stared at him with those big, weird eyes. Gerald ran out the restroom into the crowd. He couldn't see where he was going, but in the crowd, he kept seeing the strange man walking towards him, with those eyes staring intensely. Gerald shoved people down and pushed his way through. A couple of his friends were trying to help him and see what was going on, but as Gerald saw them, they all had those eyes now. They all kept reaching for him. Gerald ducked them and ran out the club. He tripped once he got outside and slid running into a parked car. He sat there for a moment trying to catch his breath. He looked around, still feeling the stare. He looked down the street, then down alleyways as he took off running. Gerald's cell rang. He jogged as he looked at the caller's name. His girlfriend is calling him. He was too afraid to stop moving, so he shoved the phone in his pocket and ran. As he reached his apartment, he turned around, finding that strange fellow still after him. He just walked slowly. He walked as if he had all the time in the world to do what he wanted to do. Gerald could still see the whites of his eyes as the brim of the hat hid the upper part of his face. Gerald shouted at the man to stop following him. The saw came out from the creepy man's jacket as he now held it in his right hand. Gerald punched in his code to get into his building, then dashed inside. He ran upstairs, then locked his front door. He then grabbed a baseball bat. He waited, listening. Looking into the peephole of his door, he could hear footsteps slowly coming up the stairs. He didn't want to see those eyes anymore, so he stepped away from the peephole. He then pulled out his phone and dialed 911. The cell phone screen goes black. The phone stops working. Gerald tosses the phone at the door. He holds the baseball bat up ready for a fight. He curses at the stranger, telling him if he comes into his home, he will bash him. Just then, Gerald caught a glimpse of the mirror in the living room. In the reflection, he could see those large eyes in the dark. The stranger stood right behind him. Gerald, with so much fear in him, shouted in horror as he turned as fast as he could, swinging the bat. The door to Gerald's apartment opens with no one in sight. A dark fog ushers out, vanishing into the air. Sitting on a rug stained in blood in the living room of the apartment is a severed arm.